In today's fast-paced world, where external pressures and constant distractions dominate our lives, many of us remain unaware of the subtle yet significant dangers posed by our behavioral patterns. These patterns, if left unexamined, can undermine our long-term well-being, leading to personal and psychological challenges that grow increasingly difficult to manage. Carl Jung, a visionary Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, argued that the critical first step toward personal growth and self-improvement is developing a deep awareness of the reality of our circumstances, both in the external world and within the intricate landscape of our inner psyche. This video delves deeply into Jung's transformative concept of individuation, the lifelong process of integrating the conscious and unconscious aspects of the self to achieve psychological wholeness. By exploring Jung's theories, drawing on insights from other scholars, and providing practical applications, this expanded exploration aims to offer a comprehensive roadmap for those seeking to navigate the complexities of their inner world and foster a more authentic, fulfilling life. Far too often, we fall into the trap of dismissing or outright denying the problems that threaten our psychological and emotional health. Whether it's procrastination, unhealthy coping mechanisms, unresolved emotional wounds, or neglected personal aspirations, our tendency to trivialize these issues or pretend they don't exist allows them to fester and grow. Carl Jung cautioned that such avoidance is a recipe for disaster, as what begins as a manageable issue can, over time, escalate into a crisis of unmanageable proportions. He emphasized that the foundation of self-improvement lies in confronting reality with honesty and courage, a perspective shared by numerous philosophers and psychologists throughout history. This propensity for denial is not merely an individual failing, but a broader cultural phenomenon. Modern society, with its emphasis on productivity, external success, and curated public images, often discourages introspection and self-examination. The relentless pursuit of achievement and social approval leaves little room for exploring the inner self, fostering a culture of distraction that alienates us from our deeper needs and desires. As a result, we risk perpetuating cycles of dissatisfaction, anxiety, and psychological dysfunction. Jung's call for heightened awareness challenges us to break free from these societal constraints, urging us to face both our external realities and internal struggles with clarity and resolve. By doing so, we can begin to address the root causes of our discontent and lay the groundwork for meaningful personal growth. Jung's perspective on the psyche is one of the most distinctive and revolutionary aspects of his psychological framework. Unlike many of his contemporaries, who viewed the psyche as a secondary phenomenon derived from physical processes, Jung regarded it as an autonomous, irreducible reality, with its own intrinsic significance. In his seminal work, Answer to Job, he stated, "What most people overlook or seem unable to understand is the fact that I regard the psyche as real." This bold assertion underscores his belief that the psyche is as tangible and impactful as the physical world, playing a central role in shaping our overall well-being. In Jung's view, the psyche is a dynamic entity encompassing both the conscious mind, our thoughts, perceptions, and awareness, and the unconscious, a vast reservoir of instincts, memories, and archetypes that influence our behavior in ways we often fail to recognize. Yet, despite its profound influence, many of us remain largely ignorant of this inner world. This lack of awareness can be traced in part to historical and cultural influences, particularly the legacy of Christianity. The Christian belief in an omniscient deity who judges not only our actions but also our thoughts fostered a culture of repression, encouraging individuals to suppress impulses or ideas deemed morally unacceptable. While overt belief in such a deity has waned in many societies, the residual tendency to repress elements of our personality that conflict with contemporary moral standards persists, limiting our ability to explore the full spectrum of the psyche. This repression creates a barrier to self-understanding, preventing us from accessing the deeper layers of the psyche that hold the key to personal growth. Jung argued that embracing the reality of the psyche, acknowledging its complexity and influence, is essential for achieving psychological balance and fostering a sense of inner harmony. By cultivating a relationship with our inner world, we can begin to unlock its potential as a source of insight, creativity, and resilience. Jung was a staunch critic of the societal obsession with moral perfection, which he viewed as both unattainable and psychologically harmful. The pursuit of perfection, he argued, leads us to suppress aspects of our personality that we perceive as flawed or socially unacceptable, thereby fueling what he termed the shadow, the hidden, often darker aspects of the self. This repression does not eliminate these traits, but instead allows them to manifest in uncontrolled and destructive ways, undermining our well-being and relationships. In his Visions, Notes of the Seminar, given in 1930 to 1934, Jung articulated this idea clearly. One should never think that man can reach perfection. He can only aim at completion, not to be perfect, but to be complete. The distinction between perfection and completeness is central to Jung's philosophy. Perfectionism, often driven by societal expectations or internalized moral ideals, encourages us to present a polished, idealized version of ourselves while rejecting traits that deviate from this image. This creates an imbalance, as the suppressed aspects of our personality grow stronger in the unconscious, influencing our behavior in ways we may not consciously understand. In contrast, completeness, or wholeness, embraces the totality of the self, including its contradictions and imperfections. Jung argued that striving for wholeness allows us to integrate all facets of our personality, fostering a more authentic and balanced existence. This pursuit of completeness is not about condoning harmful behavior, but about acknowledging and understanding our complexities. By accepting our imperfections, we gain greater control over how they manifest, reducing their potential to disrupt our lives. Jung's rejection of perfectionism challenges us to redefine success not as the absence of flaws, but as the courage to embrace our full humanity. At the heart of Jung's psychological system lies the concept of individuation, the lifelong process of integrating the conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche to achieve a state of psychological wholeness. Jung first introduced the term individuation in 1921, but its origins can be traced to his early work, particularly his doctoral dissertation on the psychology and pathology of so-called occult phenomena. In this study, Jung explored the experiences of a medium who claimed to communicate with spirits during seances. He hypothesized that these spirits were not external entities but splinter personalities, unconscious fragments of the medium's psyche that surfaced during the seances. This observation led Jung to propose that the psyche contains dormant components that shape our experiences, often without our conscious awareness. As Jung's understanding of the psyche evolved, he came to see the medium's experiences as a specific instance of a universal phenomenon. We all harbor unconscious elements, emotions, instincts, and archetypes that influence our thoughts and behaviors. Individuation, as described by Jung's colleague Yolande Jacobi in The Way of Individuation, is the process of bringing these unconscious components to consciousness, thereby realizing the greater personality latent within each individual. Unlike perfectionism, which seeks to eliminate perceived flaws, individuation embraces the entirety of the self, fostering a sense of unity and authenticity. Individuation is a natural process that unfolds as we age, with our consciousness expanding through life experiences, relationships, and personal challenges. This natural development, however, is not always smooth or conducive to psychological health. It can stall, become misdirected, or lead to imbalances that manifest as anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues. Jungian psychotherapy seeks to address these disruptions by promoting conscious individuation, a deliberate and guided engagement with the psyche. In answer to Job, Jung highlighted the profound difference between these two modes. The difference between the natural individuation process, which runs its course unconsciously, and the one which is consciously realized, is tremendous. Conscious individuation is analogous to taking an active role in physical health through exercise and nutrition. Just as we can enhance our physical development by making intentional choices, we can accelerate psychological growth by engaging with the unconscious. This process involves confronting repressed emotions, exploring symbolic material, and integrating insights into our conscious awareness. The result, as Jung described, is a personality permeated with light, where consciousness expands in scope and depth, illuminating the hidden recesses of the psyche. This expanded awareness empowers us to live more fully, with greater insight into ourselves and our place in the world. Dreams serve as one of the most powerful tools for accessing the unconscious and advancing the individuation process. Jung was heavily influenced by Sigmund Freud's pioneering work on dreams, but developed a distinctly different perspective. Freud viewed dreams as disguised expressions of repressed desires, designed to preserve sleep by discharging unconscious impulses. Jung, however, rejected the notion that dreams conceal their meaning. Instead, he saw them as direct, spontaneous, and symbolic communications from the unconscious. In Nietzsche's Zarathustra, Notes of the Seminar, given in 1934 to 1939, he described dreams as windows that allow us to look in, or to listen in, to that psychological process which is continually going on in our unconscious. The challenge of working with dreams lies in understanding their symbolic language, which differs markedly from the rational, linear discourse of the conscious mind. Jung observed that the symbols in dreams often bear striking similarities to those found in myths, fairy tales, and religious narratives across cultures and eras. To explain this phenomenon, he introduced the concept of the collective unconscious, a transpersonal layer of the psyche containing universal, heritable elements known as archetypes. These archetypes, such as the hero, the shadow, or the wise old man, manifest in dreams and cultural stories, reflecting fundamental patterns of human experience. Jung's theory of the collective unconscious posits that the psyche contains innate, biologically inherited structures that shape human behavior and perception. These structures, or archetypes, are what Jung's colleague Agnella Jaffe described in The Myth of Meaning as the prime imprinters of human life. Archetypes are not specific images, but universal patterns that take form in the symbols of dreams, myths, and art. For example, the archetype of the mother may appear as a nurturing figure in one person's dream, and as a goddess in another's, but both reflect the same underlying pattern. By becoming conscious of archetypal symbols through dream analysis, we gain insight into the timeless patterns that connect us to all of humanity. This awareness has profound therapeutic value, as it helps us recognize that our struggles are not unique but part of a shared human experience. In alchemical studies, Jung likened this shift in perspective to viewing a storm from a mountaintop. What, on a lower level, had led to the wildest conflicts and to panicky outbursts of emotion, now looks like a storm in the valley seen from the mountaintop. This elevated perspective does not negate the reality of our challenges, but allows us to approach them with greater equanimity and understanding, fostering resilience and emotional balance. The journey of conscious individuation begins with a critical and often challenging task: dismantling the persona, the social mask we wear to navigate societal expectations. The persona forms early in life as we adapt to cultural norms, emphasizing traits that align with social values while suppressing those that conflict. While the persona is necessary for social interaction, over-identification with it can lead to a profound disconnection from the deeper layers of the psyche. In the relations between the ego and the unconscious, Jung urged individuals to divest the self of the false wrappings of the persona. recognizing that this mask represents only a fraction of the total personality. Jung likened the process of shedding the persona to peeling an onion, a metaphor he explored in Visions. We are like onions with many skins, and we have to peel ourselves again and again in order to get at the real core. Each layer removed brings us closer to our authentic self. But the process is often painful, as it requires confronting aspects of ourselves we may have long denied or hidden. The persona is not inherently negative. It enables us to function in society, but mistaking it for our entire identity limits our potential for growth and self-understanding. By acknowledging the persona's limitations, we open the door to the deeper realms of the psyche, setting the stage for true individuation. Embarking on the path of conscious individuation requires dedication and practical tools to engage with the unconscious. Jung emphasized dream analysis as the most effective method, recommending that individuals record their dreams consistently and reflect on their symbolic content over time. Keeping a dream journal, noting recurring themes, and exploring their connections to waking life can reveal archetypal patterns and personal insights that illuminate the individuation process. In addition to dream analysis, several other practices can support conscious individuation. 1. Self-reflection and journaling. Regular introspection, through journaling or meditative practices, helps uncover repressed emotions, desires, and conflicts. Writing about personal experiences and feelings can bring unconscious material to light, fostering greater self-awareness. 2. Creative expression. Engaging in creative activities such as painting, writing, music, or dance provides a powerful outlet for unconscious material. These mediums allow us to externalize and explore aspects of the psyche that may be difficult to articulate verbally. 3. Jungian psychotherapy. Working with a trained Jungian analyst offers expert guidance in navigating the complexities of the psyche. Therapists can help interpret dreams, identify archetypal patterns, and facilitate the integration of unconscious material. 4th, engagement with myth and symbol. Studying myths, fairy tales, religious texts, or cultural narratives can deepen our understanding of archetypal patterns. These stories offer timeless insights into the human condition, enriching our individuation journey. 5. Mindfulness and contemplation. Practices such as mindfulness meditation or contemplative prayer cultivate a receptive state of mind, making it easier to connect with the unconscious and process symbolic material. These practices require patience and commitment, but their rewards are profound. By actively engaging with the psyche, we foster a deeper connection to ourselves and the broader human experience, paving the way for psychological growth and wholeness. The path of individuation is not without its challenges. Confronting unconscious material often evokes fear, discomfort, or resistance, as it requires us to face aspects of ourselves we may prefer to ignore. The process can also be time-intensive, demanding a sustained commitment to self-exploration. Despite these difficulties, the effort is worthwhile, as it leads to greater self-understanding and emotional resilience. Misconceptions about individuation can further complicate the journey. Some view it as a form of self-absorption or an excuse to withdraw from societal responsibilities. Jung was clear, however, that individuation is not about isolation, but about becoming a more integrated and authentic individual who can contribute meaningfully to society. A whole person, he argued, is better equipped to form genuine relationships and engage with the world in a balanced way. Another common misconception is that individuation culminates in a fixed state of enlightenment or perfection. Jung emphasized that it is a dynamic, lifelong process with no final destination. Each step forward reveals new layers underdeveloped psyche, requiring ongoing engagement and adaptation. This fluidity can be daunting but also liberating, as it underscores the potential for continuous growth and self-discovery. Jung's teachings on individuation are strikingly relevant in today's hyper-connected, image-conscious society. The rise of social media has intensified the pressure to curate a perfect persona, encouraging us to present an idealized version of ourselves while suppressing our authentic thoughts and feelings. This disconnection from the true self fuels a range of psychological challenges, including anxiety, depression, and a pervasive sense of emptiness. Individuation offers a powerful antidote, urging us to look inward, dismantle the false persona, and reclaim our wholeness. Furthermore, Jung's concept of the collective unconscious resonates in an era marked by global challenges such as climate change, political polarization, and cultural division. By recognizing the archetypal patterns that unite humanity, we can foster empathy and understanding across diverse perspectives, building bridges in a fragmented world. Individuation, therefore, is not only a personal journey but a collective one, with the potential to contribute to a more conscious and compassionate society. The modern world also presents unique opportunities for individuation. Access to psychological resources, online communities, and educational platforms makes it easier than ever to explore Jungian concepts and engage in self-reflection. At the same time, the distractions of technology and the demands of modern life require us to be intentional about carving out space for inner work. By prioritizing individuation, we can navigate the complexities of contemporary existence with greater clarity and purpose. Carl Jung's concept of individuation offers a transformative framework for understanding and navigating the human psyche. By confronting the reality of our inner world, dismantling the persona, and engaging with the unconscious through dreams, archetypes, and reflective practices, we can move beyond the limitations of perfectionism and societal conformity. This journey toward wholeness is not easy. It demands courage, patience, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths, but its rewards are profound. Through individuation, we cultivate a life of authenticity, resilience, and deep connection to the timeless patterns of humanity. In a world that often pulls us away from ourselves, Jung's wisdom serves as a beacon, guiding us back to the core of our being. Whether through dream analysis, creative expression, or therapeutic exploration, the path of individuation invites us to embrace our full humanity and live with greater purpose and meaning. As we undertake this journey, we not only transform ourselves, but also contribute to a more conscious and interconnected world, embodying the wholeness that Jung envisioned as the ultimate goal of human development.